Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today and this morning for this webinar on video search engine optimization. My name is Christine Halim and I'm the Events and Membership Coordinator here at Connecting Up. Some of you might have known that July was our digital storytelling month where we did a lot of events and content around digital storytelling. We had a lot of workshops and a few webinars on different digital storytelling methods. And this is our last webinar on this topic. So throughout the month you would have read or learned about how to make a video, how to edit them. And so now the question is, how do we get people to watch them? And that's what there will be a few tips and tricks that Ryan will go through with you on this topic. So our presenter today is Ryan. He's from Connecting Up and he's the marketing coordinator here, but he also has a lot of experience in video and filming, so he'll be the best person to ask questions to. And apart from the search engine optimization side, he will also look at how you can maximize various YouTube features through the nonprofit program to drive traffic and call to action for your cause. And finally, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the question box on your webinar panel, and I will go through them one by one towards the end of the webinar. So please get them through, come along, and then we'll read them out at the end. And then I'm just going to pass it on to Ryan now to start his presentation.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name's Ryan, as Christine has already mentioned, and I'm the marketing coordinator here at Connecting Up. First of all, I'd like to let people know that I want all the questions to flow through whenever they come up. So if anyone has any questions or if anyone has any specific examples of work that they've done online video that they'd like to bring up and like us to have a look, please just use the question feature, and we'll go through those throughout the presentation, and then if there are any more questions at the end, we'll go through those then. So a bit of my background. I've been doing online video for about 10 years now, starting off with YouTube primarily. It's one of the easiest solutions to work with. You don't have to pay your bandwidth costs, which is nice. And it's just grown into the home of online video, I guess. And then I moved into online streaming. My company, Pure Motorsport, was one of the first to stream rallying online in Australia, so motorsports through the forests. And I've worked with a number of national championships, motorsport championships on their online video. I currently deal with all the online video and streaming for the Australian Rally Championship. So keen-eyed people may notice a couple of examples from there, but they are definitely relevant. So that's a bit on me. I'll get on with what you're here to see, and that is online video. So the first thing I want to bring up with online video is a bit of a conceptual shift here. People know YouTube as an online video site. Well, it's not actually a video site anymore. YouTube was brought out by Google a number of years ago, and since that, YouTube's actually become the second largest search engine in the world by search volume. So instead of thinking about YouTube just as a place to publish your videos, you need to start thinking about YouTube as Google for videos. Google used YouTube search results in their Google video searches, and YouTube is the place where people will go to find videos on whatever it might be these days, instead of searching through Google or Bing or Yahoo or whatever it might be. So it's for that reason that search engine optimization becomes really important here. And so that's what we're here to talk about today. So search engine optimization for video isn't actually that much different to search engine optimization for a normal website. It's just that we do it slightly differently because we can't really put keywords into videos. So some of this might seem a bit basic, but hopefully you pick up a couple of tips and tricks. The first thing is you need a description on your slides. Now you can see in this slide here, I've got a description on the slide which includes optimized content, just like your website should. Same rules apply to website content as they do to a description for your videos. So make sure you use your appropriate keywords that you're looking to target. But one of the other things is make sure you add links to your website, your social media accounts, and things like that. It's very important that you do that because it'll not only assist people with finding your video, but if somebody does organically find your video, then they're more likely to then go to your website and have a look about what you do, particularly if your video is especially engaging or really grabs them. They might want to get involved with your charity or your non-profit. So the more information, the easier you can make it for them, the better. Now you can see on this slide that there is a subscribe box over in the right-hand corner. Now that's an annotation on my next slide. Annotations can be used to provide anyone with a specific call to action or link to another video. And this is pretty important because YouTube have found that unless you provide users with a specific call to action, they won't do anything. So in the previous slide I had a subscribe box because what I really want to do is when somebody visits the video, they like what they see, I want them to subscribe. Once they're subscribed, they will get an alert every time I publish a new video. And that way I just keep my views rotating. I know that I'll always get a certain percentage of my subscribers watching a video, and that's what I'm looking for. So in this slide here you can see this is a onboard video from a rally that was actually on the weekend, and what I've done is I've posted up a third of the stage by 3 different drivers. So this particular slide is from the last third of the stage. So you can see down the bottom that I've used annotations to link to the other videos. So you might set up a series of videos on cybersecurity, and you might want to have an annotation in your antivirus video that links to your firewall video, because you don't know the way these search engines work. You don't know which video people are going to come in at first. You can't assume that they're going to come in at the first video in a playlist. So being able to feed them through your other videos is going to work out very helpful. Other annotations that you could do are things like a subscribe, like I've already discussed, and linking to Facebook and Twitter. It's a good way to build your likes and build your Twitter followers after they see your video and they want to find out more. Another good one is always donate, or if you have a specific action that you want them to take out of the video, then use an annotation for that. You can even put speech bubbles in and things like that if you have something that you want to do that might fit. I have a question.
Yes, there are 2 questions relating to the annotations. One first question from Madalena is, where do they get the alert, like you mentioned in terms of you subscribe? You get the people who subscribe will get an alert if there's a new video. So is it by email or?
Sure. The reason why I didn't really touch on that is because you can actually set your own preferences. So if you set your preferences, I've got some people that I'm subscribed to that I get an email the second that they publish a new video, but then I have other people that I get a weekly digest. So everyone that I'm subscribed to, I get all of these in an email. And again, the email prompts them, but there's also an interface in YouTube if you're logged in that shows recent videos from everyone that you're subscribed to. So because there's probably 3 or 4 different ways that people might get these alerts, that's why it's so valuable to have the opportunity to be able to ping them when something does come up.
There's another question from James in terms of annotations. How do you put annotations onto the page?
That's a really good question. If you don't mind, James, I might leave that to the end, and what I'll do is I'll actually go onto YouTube and I'll do a live demonstration for you, and that way I can show you how to do it, and I can show you a couple of the different options. That's probably the best way to do that. So if you hang around, I will address that just after a few more slides.
There's just another question from James earlier on. It's nothing to do with annotation, but I might as well just address it now. Is there much research on optimum lengths of video? Do excessively long videos reduce click-through rates?
Wow. Click-through rates, okay. Generally, the research is that it depends on what you're putting up. The shorter the better for people viewing the entire way through. For web TV content, so short film, drama shows that you might make for YouTube, that kind of thing, it's generally regarded that 5 to 10 minutes has been the limit of engaging content. But these days, because YouTube raised their ceiling to 15-minute video time, so you can upload a video that's up to 15 minutes long. And if you're a YouTube partner, or if you're a registered non-profit with YouTube, you can go even longer than that. So I'm not really answering the question, I don't think, but I guess at the end of the day it comes down to what your content is. And if you expect people to have an immediate reaction, it needs to be highly engaging content, and the shorter the better, I think. But if you do have really, really engaging content, then you'd probably be able to get away with a longer video.
I might add on to that actually. This was also addressed at one of the digital storytelling workshop that we ran last month. So the facilitator basically said that, as Ryan has mentioned, it does depend on the content. If it is educational, obviously it might need to be longer. If it's like a tutorial or things, then that needs time to get through the content properly. But if it is a promotion or things, the shorter is the better, probably between 1 to 3 minutes max. Don't drag it out too long, and try to get your message straight across as soon as possible so that people get it within the first few seconds, and then they don't lose interest based on that.
Yeah, I'd say that's about right. I was in a presentation by a YouTube partner manager a couple of weeks ago, and their statistics basically showed that regardless of what content it was, your audience trails off for a video after the first couple of minutes anyway. So you might get 90% see the first 3 or 4 minutes, and only about 10% will see the last 3 or 4 minutes if it's a really long video. Alright, so that's about getting your audience back to your website, getting them to view your other videos. What do you do to actually get people to watch your videos in the first place? Well, the first thing to do is use your online presence that you already have. I guess I'm going to call them good old days, when YouTube first started, there was a lot of what YouTube now refer to as post and pray. So people would post a video up and then just hope people saw it and hope people watched it. And most of these videos end up with about 3 or 4 views, one of them being yourself, one of them being your sister, your mum, and your dad. So it wasn't really working out for people. Now, in the case of non-profits, most of you have already got an online presence. You've already got a website. You've already got a Facebook page, a Twitter profile, and you may even have a Google Plus page. Now, those people, YouTube videos are perfect content to publish on these, and at the same time, this will give you the reciprocal traffic. You'll get people who are fans on Facebook will go to YouTube and they will watch the video, and then they will subscribe on YouTube, and you have another avenue through which you can communicate to your fans and to your followers. So make sure you post links to your videos on all your social networking sites and your website. You can set YouTube to do this automatically if you'd like. Otherwise, if you want to throw in a bit more customization, you might want to tag other people on Facebook or Twitter, then feel free to do it manually. And this will boost your video views and it will boost your subscribers. Now, one thing there is some people might think it's a bit strange that I've included Google Plus in that list. Funnily enough, Google Plus is actually owned by Google, who own YouTube. And because of that, they use Google Plus pages as part of their search rankings and search algorithms now. And not only does this help your content rank higher, but it's also going to bring about a whole heap of new opportunities. So if you mouse over a Google Plus search result in a search page, you'll see all this extra content, all these extra videos, all kinds of cool content from the Google Plus page that isn't possible through your Facebook and your Twitter and things like that. So I would highly recommend setting up a Google Plus page to go along with your YouTube channel, even if you're just using it for referral links and to boost your SEO. Now the next tip is really, really simple. You need to upload videos. And when I say you need to upload videos, you don't just need to upload a video and then leave it for a couple of months. Videos are just like any other content. To really catch your audience, you need some form of content calendar so you can schedule when your videos will be released. Because as your channel grows, you will get to a point where your viewers will come to realistically expect videos at a specific time and a specific day. So you should be trying to make these regular, and this will entice your subscribers as well. So if you have maybe some volunteers that can help you with this, or you have time to do this, you might make it once a week, say every Wednesday. If you're a little bit more time poor, then perhaps you can go every second Monday. Or what about just the first Friday of the month? The first Friday of the month, that gives you a whole month to create something new. It doesn't have to be very long, and it keeps a regular content on the channel, keeps it all refreshed and up to date. Now, to build your audience on YouTube, and building your audience, building your subscribers is always going to increase the number of views that you get. Reply to comments on your videos. Interact with people that are interacting with you. You will get people commenting on your videos. Some of them may be constructive feedback. People might be asking for high quality content or high definition or something that you can achieve quite easily. Others, it might be destructive feedback, and you need to deal with that just like you would a negative comment on Facebook or negative PR in the media. So make sure you keep an eye on that, and it might also be useful to build your subscriber base as well. Now, all of this is really good as a starting point for optimizing your videos and your descriptions for search engines. But the way to really kickstart that forward and maximize your video SEO benefits is the YouTube nonprofit program. Now, most of you weren't familiar with the program or weren't members. I think there were a couple. So this program is specifically tailored to nonprofits by Google, and it includes most of the benefits that you get if you are a YouTube partner, but you get a couple of extra things that make it worthwhile for nonprofits. So this enables you to get more links to your websites on YouTube and more links to your important content and your calls to action to give you a better connection between YouTube and your website and your overall digital mix that you might be working with. So one of the coolest things that you can do through the nonprofit program is channel branding. So channel branding gives you the ability to set custom backgrounds which provide perfect visual messaging to accompany your videos. Now you can see here in this example I've got the Global Fund, and it's got this beautiful picture of a mother and a child, and it matches quite strongly with their overall messaging, their overall descriptions and their videos. And then they've used their ability, you can set a custom header with links. So they've used that ability to add their logo into the header and to add links to their Facebook and their Twitter and their Flickr profiles. So you can set what's called a HTML image map over that, and there are a few free tools online that you can use to set that up. And then you can have links in the header so people can, you might want to have a donate link there to link to your website where you can donate. You might want people to become a member. You might want to it might be as simple as putting an arrow to the subscribe button to get people to subscribe to your channel and get them to try and perform the actions that you're after. Now, call to action overlays are something that's really cool, and Ben is really happy with me that I've put this video in these slides. Call to action overlays are something that are exclusive to nonprofits, and they're similar to text ads in videos, except for charities they can provide viewers with a specific action that you want them to take. So you can see down here I've got Donatech by Connecting Up, technology donations and discounts for nonprofit organisations. Now I could probably give that a stronger call to action. So join today to receive technology donations, but it means that this is going to pop up in the video and tell people, alright, so this is the action that we want you to take after you've watched this video. So you might make a really engaging video about say a clean water campaign, and what you really need out of this clean water campaign is for people to donate to provide clean water to a village. So what you would do there is, if you made a really engaging video on how amazing, how the clean water will transform the lives of these people, then people are going to want to do something about that. So you need to give them something to do. Put your call to action in there about asking for donations, or if you want people to join up and help do something, give them something to do, and you will see that they'll start to follow through and they'll start to do it. A really good example of this is one that pretty much everyone has seen now, and that is the Coney video a bit earlier in the year. Obviously, Coney was a tyrant in Africa, and it's obviously very bad what he was doing, and the people from Invisible Children did a really good job of demonstrating that fact and telling that powerful story. But what they didn't do is have a call to action after that. So people watched this video and people were empowered, and people were sharing this video online, and it had somewhere around 30 million video views, but there was no follow-up. There was no, okay, I've watched this video and this is amazing and I've told everyone that I can about it, but what can we do about it? And as a result, they ended up producing a second video which wasn't quite as successful. They have influenced government policy, but they didn't really give their audience any specific action to perform as a result of this. On to the next slide, we have the donate button. Now this isn't available in all countries, so make sure you check whether it is available in your country before you try and set it up. But again, this is specific to non-profits, and I've just changed the slide. And it enables people to watch your video and donate directly to your organisation through Google Checkout. It's really easy to set up. It doesn't require any coding. All of these features in general are pretty easy to set up. But you can also have a look at the World Food Programme page, and you can see this page has strong branding. It has a strong action in the heading. You can help save lives. Donate now. They've got a call to action in the video down the bottom. Join the fight. Join our online community, and there's a URL there for a join page. So all of that works quite well together to try and get people to perform the action that you are trying to get them to do. Now, in terms of video sharing, when we had Margaret Faulkner from UniSA talking at our conference, she covered a bit of this. People are more likely to share videos which provoke high arousal emotions in them. So videos that make them really sad or really angry or even really happy, if they make them laugh, people are more likely to share those and share those around. So that's something to keep in mind when you're creating videos. Both Margaret and UniSA and YouTube have all found that, surprise, surprise, people are more likely to share funny videos. So work a bit of humour in. And celebrities can also help sell your videos. There were two really good examples that Margaret used at Connecting Up 12, and that was the American Red Cross's CPR video, which used Ken Jeong from The Hangover and a few other movies. The Heart Foundation, yeah. Demonstrating how to do CPR to the tune of the Bee Gees' Staying Alive. And it was a very funny video, and as a result it got shared a lot, and it went everywhere. And that's the kind of reaction you want. In the UK, they did a similar thing with Vinnie Jones from Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. And that was very, very funny, but he was also playing quite a typical character from a lot of the movies that he's in, so his fans could relate to that quite well. So those are worth looking up, and we'll provide you with the links afterwards, and it'll give you an idea of what you might be able to do to work some comedy in. Now we're almost to the end, and then we'll do some of the setup work that James asked before. In terms of resources, if you go to youtube.com/nonprofits, which was on the other slide, not only can you register for the program there, but you can download the playbook guide, YouTube for Good, and it gives you an introductory guide to what you can do through the YouTube for Nonprofits program and some of the different tips and tricks that you can do to make sure that your videos are watched more. Now, I've also included the link there to the playbook for partners, because I find that is a more comprehensive document. You won't be able to necessarily do everything that's in the book, but there is some really useful tips there that will expand on what's in the YouTube for Good book. So once you've done everything in the YouTube for Good playbook, have a look at the normal playbook and make a comparison and see what you can do. And apparently we have some questions.
Yes, we do. Firstly, from Abby, you mentioned about the donate button when you talk about that YouTube for Nonprofits before. Her question is the donate button available in Australia as well? Because I think that example that you showed was an international one.
It was an international one. As far as I know, it is available. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to check before this, but we'll have a look in just a sec and see if we can set that up.
Whiting asked the question, does Ryan have any experience on Vimeo? One of the disadvantages of YouTube is that any content that you load up is then in the public domain. If it is important for you to retain ownership of your content, then YouTube is not the best option for you and Vimeo is. Are the practices that you are presenting equally applicable to Vimeo?
Yes and no. Vimeo in general just does not have the audience that's required. And Vimeo itself is also not as, it's not a search engine, it is actually still a video site. We were discussing this just the other day with some people who made quite a popular online video. They initially published it on Vimeo and promoted it through Vimeo, and they put the same video up on YouTube at the same time and didn't promote the YouTube link. and the YouTube video got watched more organically than the Vimeo link. In terms of licensing on YouTube, there are two different licenses that you can use. One of them allows, basically, it's Creative Commons, so anyone can download your video and remix it. And there are positives and negatives to that. And obviously, most people wouldn't want to publish their videos like that if they're an organisation video. But the other license, there's generally no problems doing that. You retain ownership of it, but you essentially license YouTube to use it on their site so that people can watch it, basically. I personally think that the trade-off is acceptable because you can publish the video on Vimeo and that might be fine for embedding it in your website, and the quality is probably a bit higher on Vimeo, but at the end of the day, just not as many people will see it.
There was also an earlier question from James in terms of tags, because I know like YouTube has all these different tags that you can use, and I think he's just asking how do tags work.
Tags are the same as keywords. So the keywords that you're targeting in your description are basically what you'd want to use in your tags. And what I will do is I will exit out of this. And hey, let's have a look. So I'm going to look at something that I put together on the weekend so you can see some of the tags that I've used there. And if you need a keyword analysis tool, what I suggest that you do is register for Google AdWords. I'm just going to pause this. So if you register for Google AdWords, Google gives you access to a tool that you can use for keywords. Where's my connecting up account? There it is. So you have to pay to have your ads published on Google AdWords, unless you have a YouTube grant. However, you don't have to pay to register and use the keyword tool. So you can go onto the website and you can do some keyword analysis with the keyword tool. So you can see here you can put a couple of words or phrases in, you can put your website in, it will show you keyword ideas, even show you ads ideas if you're interested in that. That's new. And those will directly translate over to YouTube. So if I have a look at, let's say I want to look at a feature video. So these are all playlists. I can look at this video here, was really popular on the weekend. You'll see here I've got a description which uses some of the keywords that I want to target, which are motorsport, which are rally, the model of the car, things like that. Then I have all the links to the different websites that I want to use. And then I have my description, my global description for all the videos. And then you can see I've got all of my tags down here. So tags that people are likely to be looking at. This is a rally video, so people might be looking for rally videos. So I want to target rally. They might be looking for videos on the Australian Rally Championship. So I've used that as a tag. Now you can use multiple word tags in quotation marks, and that will allow you to put longer ones in. And as you're typing a couple of tags, YouTube will start popping up and making suggestions, and you can decide whether you want to accept the suggestions or not. One thing to bear in mind is that with Google AdWords, the keyword tool on Google AdWords, and with YouTube, they don't always suggest the best keywords. Now, you'd expect, being Google, that they would, but it's very important that you actually check the keywords before you accept them, as sometimes they've been known to include the wrong keywords and lead you up the garden path a bit. Now, what I'm going to do is go to our page and show you some of the setup things. So if I sign in here, no.
Nancy is just asking if you should limit the number of tags or just put as many as possible.
I found mixed results. YouTube themselves seem to think as many as possible, so if that's what they say, then I'm happy to go with that.
Doing that, I might just go through a few generic questions. Do you know of any free video editing tools? And that's a question by Mitzi. I did mention to her that Windows Live Movie Maker is free for Windows 7, obviously. I think some of them come with the software. And for Windows XP, there's Windows Movie Maker. Is there anything else that you know, Ryan, that's free editing tools?
On the PC, they're probably the best couple. Sometimes your video camera might come with something that's worth using, and that's definitely worth looking into. Sony Vegas, I'm not sure if that comes free with any Sony products, but that can be quite a good tool. And then you can kind of go up into relatively low-cost tools. On the PC, things like Adobe Premiere Elements. It's a simplified version of Adobe Premiere that can do most of the basic things without being quite that overloading. That's definitely worth looking into. On the Mac, the best one is iMovie, and that comes free on iMacs and most Macs. If you have to buy it, I think it's like a $10 or $15 download through the App Store now. You can even, on the iPad these days with the video camera on the iPad, you can get low-cost programs like Avid Studio and iMovie for about $5. And the iPad, if it's put on a tripod or if it's stabilized somehow, actually makes quite a decent video camera.
Got a few questions lined up, but maybe you just go through the demo first, and then we'll go through the questions a bit later on.
Sure. So to add the donation module, all I have to do is click over here where it says Add Donation Module. But I need a Google Checkout Merchant ID. So I'm not going to set that up today. But you just go to Google Checkout's website and set up a merchant ID, and then you can also set up the increments. So being in Australia, if you DGR, you'd probably want to set up, say, $2 as your minimum increment, and then you can get started with that. What I'll do is I'll go to and upload a video that we have done. And what about our Slide Rocket webinar from last week, Christine?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you.
So here's our webinar. If I click, you see up the top here I've got an Annotations button. I can just click on that.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you.
And here it's going to give me, I'm just going to mute that. It's playing through the video right now, but what it's giving me is a real-time view of the video, and down here it's going to show me where all of my labels are. So if I want to go, let's go 6 minutes in, and I'll just wait for that to catch up. There we go. So you can see my time increment here has changed to 6 minutes. And now I'm going to add an annotation, and let's go with a speech bubble. Slide Rocket. So this was a Slide Rocket webinar, so I might put a Slide Rocket one in, and I might link that to our website. So I'm going to link that to donatech.org/sliderocket, so that's an external link. Okay, and that's going to open in a new window. And I'm going to move that over there. And I can change the color of that too. Slide rocket is yellow. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to save it. So that's reasonably easy. But now, if I move my mouse over down the bottom, I can see there's a slight red mark here, and that's where the annotation is on the graph. So if I turn that into an arrow, I can just stretch that out. I can also change the endpoint here. But this is basically telling me that from the 6-minute mark through to the 40-minute mark now, that annotation is going to be displayed on the screen. Now if I add a second annotation, so this time I'm going to add a note, and that note is going to be subscribe, because I want people who view this to subscribe to Connecting Up, and I'm going to go with a green for this one. And again, I'm going to link it to subscribe this time, so it makes it nice and easy. And the name is connectingup.org. And now this time I'm going to use the text things here. So I'm going to make this change at the, it's a 50-minute video, 53-minute video, so at the 50-minute point. And so you can see down here that because subscribe goes for longer, it's you can see that quite clearly on the graph now, and it's also going to be displayed over the top of the slide rocket one. And if I could change those around if I wanted, and I could make subscribe go underneath. Yep, no, not today. And I'm just going to put this down the bottom because I don't really want to cover up the content. So I can go save. And now if I hit play, no. So you can see we're switching over to the next slide very slowly. And we can see the annotations there. If I go to publish.
Unfortunately, it's a bit difficult to demonstrate videos on the webinar because the bandwidth and all that, it just makes it really slow and flickery. So if you see it like very, lots of white thing flashes going on.
I'm going to struggle through here and see if I can at least get a static shot that we can use. Nope, I can hear from the fan on my computer that we're struggling, so
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your patience waiting up for us.
make sure you click publish.
Save, then publish.
Save, then publish. There you go. So you can see quite clearly there's my annotation to slide rocket, and there is my subscribe annotation, and my users can close that if they like. Now I can also do things like, if I click on edit, you can set your thumbnail, and your thumbnail should be something that gets the interest of your users. So I'm going to set that as a slide rocket background because that might be more interesting. And you can see down here YouTube have suggested some tags for us. So animation, that's probably appropriate. Media, design, try a couple more of those. And then I can go over here to advanced settings. It's a good idea to include as much detail here as you can. So your video location, your recording date, if those are appropriate. And here is your call to action overlay. So this is only if you're a YouTube for Nonprofits partner, but you can go in here and let's go, our headline might be start with slide rocket today. and I've run out of letters. Start with SlideRocket. Request a donation today. I can set an image if I want. Otherwise here I can go donortech.org/SlideRocket, and that's going to take me to here. Save. Okay. Now I can go back here, and now you can see there's my call to action. So this is giving people who really like this video on digital storytelling with SlideRocket now have a follow-up action that they can do. They can start with SlideRocket, they can go to our website, and they can request a donation. So that's something that you can quite easily set up. You just saw me do it. It took 2 minutes, and definitely worth doing as often as possible. Now, apparently we've got a few questions, so we'll go through a few questions, and if we get time, we'll quickly touch on analytics so you can determine just how your videos are performing.
Alright, so first question from Alison McLeod. Would you put the call to action at the start or end of your video?
Both. If you use a YouTube call to action like I just set up, that doesn't display at the end. So I would have a slide at the end with an annotation to just different wording, summarize your call to action, join us now, instead of the 3-line version that I just showed you. Join us now and link that directly to your website.
Next question from Carly. What if you have a regular YouTube channel and you want to set up the not-for-profit one? Can you transfer all the materials onto the new channel, or do you use the current one and get the added benefits?
You can use the current one and get the added benefits. If you go to youtube.com/nonprofits, so if you can apply to Google for nonprofits with the YouTube account you've already got set up.
Great. How can you attract advertisers to place ads on your YouTube site to generate extra revenue for charity? And this is a question from Wendy Spencer.
One of the things with the YouTube nonprofit program is that it doesn't actually allow you to do that. If you are a YouTube partner, you can do that. If you're a YouTube nonprofit, you don't get the benefits of the advertising revenue. One thing to note though is you need to have an extraordinary amount of traffic to actually generate income for your charity. Something like, I think 100,000 video views has generated about $10, $20 in revenue, and so you'd need to be somewhere in the millions probably before that would start to pay off. So that's a decision that you would have to determine, and you can talk to YouTube about that as well and determine what's going to be best for your charity.
Partner and the non-profit program. So the partner one is you have to pay for it, and the non-profit program obviously free.
No, they're both free, but the partner program is a little bit more restrictive. You need to have already demonstrated good performance on YouTube before you can actually become a partner. You'd need a significant number of video views, a significant number of subscribers, and whereas the non-profit program, if you're a non-profit, you can get in.
Also asked whether the 4:5 screen ratio turn off viewers.
4:3 screen ratio, yeah. These days most people are putting content up in widescreen, and if you had that option I would definitely recommend that you put everything up in widescreen.
Question from Mitzi. Can you download YouTube video and then keep it loaded on the PC?
A video that you have uploaded yourself, yes you can. There are also tools available to download videos from YouTube that other people have uploaded. There's a few different ones. If you just go to Google and type in YouTube video downloader or something like that, you'll find one that works. The only thing with those is you need to make sure that you check whether they are Creative Commons before you do anything with them. So if I go to social fundraising, I can scroll down here and click show more, and it says here standard YouTube license. So I wouldn't actually be able to download this video and republish it. YouTube can actually remove that.
From Mark, one CU12 participant from a digital access organization said that if you add subtitles to video, you make videos more accessible to not only people who cannot hear, but also increase SEO because the subtitle file will naturally be loaded with relevant content. Is this true? Have you heard of this? And will most editing software have a subtitle file that works this way?
Here we still have this digital storytelling with SlideRocket webinar open. So if we click on captions, you can upload a caption file directly. Most editing programs should have something that can be exported, but just double check on YouTube. They have a really good technical area. You'll be able to find the formats relatively easier, and the text would be mined by search engines, so that would provide you with some extra benefit. It's probably, I would class that as being a more advanced thing. So today we've just concentrated on beginner techniques, but if you want to get into that, then definitely I would recommend that. The more accessible the videos are, the better off for everyone.
Oh, a question from Nancy. Should I upload in HD? What is best, maximum or medium quality?
Maximum quality is always best, because YouTube these days will then encode it into lower quality as well, and people can choose. So if I am somewhere where I have a really good internet connection, I can quite happily watch a high quality, high definition video, whereas if I am on out in the country and I'm on a mobile device, then I might want to watch the low quality one. So uploading the high quality one just enables you to appeal to as many people as possible.
A basic question from Anna about iPads being decent for videoing. Can you connect lapel mics to iPads?
There are a few plug-in devices to connect things to iPads, but I don't think lapel mics are one of them. Funnily enough, I'm pretty sure guitars are, but lapel mics aren't. I don't know off the top of my head is the short answer. I probably wouldn't recommend it either, but I would always recommend you use some form of external mic like a lapel. So if you're trying to do that, then either send me an email after the webinar and I'll have a look into it for you, or have a look on Google yourself and see whether you can find something.
Just a comment from Caitlin in addition to that caption thing that we talked about. Her comment is, yes, captions are very important for people who are deaf or hard to hear, or hard of hearing. And accessible videos tend to be shared, promoted, celebrated among the deaf community. So please consider captioning where possible. Thanks for that comment, Caitlin. A few more questions here from Philip. Can this all still be worth it for a small charity for children with special needs and puppies run by non-tech people? What about the stopping adult aids if your videos are aimed at families and children?
Sorry, what was the last part of that question?
What about stopping adult aids if your videos are aimed at families and children? I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I guess in general he wants to know whether all this effort in terms of videos and all is worth it if they're just a small charity and they're run by non-technical people.
You don't have to have great technical skills to be able to pull these things off. That's one of the great things about YouTube. These days, you know, you can produce a video just using the webcam that might be built into your laptop, or My mobile phone these days, I can shoot a video on my mobile phone and I can automatically upload to YouTube from my phone. It's more about having quality content. If you can produce an engaging video and you can work on your search engine optimization and you can feed that back to your supporters, then I definitely see that there would be a benefit there. But it's going to take some time to get the right feel for your organisation and the resources that you've got. So if you put a video up, don't be discouraged if you get 50 views. Have a look and see what worked and what didn't, and then a continual process of improvement and see what you can do. See if you can come up with something funny that might work to promote the cause. I think there is possibly, I would probably open up separate YouTube channels for the separate age demographics. That's probably a more appropriate thing to do, and there are some more advanced techniques that you can use to feed those into each other and to cross-promote those that I'm happy to go through at a later date if you'd like.
The other question that he was asking is about how to stop adult advertisements if the videos are aimed at families and children, so that yeah, there's no inappropriate ads, I suppose.
There is a setting. I mean, in theory, Google's ad algorithm works by checking what kind of content you've got and providing appropriate ads. But I've been noticing in the last couple of weeks that hasn't always been the case. You can see on your account settings overview page, I can go down to advertisements and I can click do not allow advertisements to be displayed alongside my videos. And so there is no harm at all in just turning that off.
Great. We're running out of time. Go through the last two questions from James. Firstly, are political parties considered as non-profits?
2 seconds. I actually just had that open. To be eligible, if they have income tax exemption status from the tax office, then they should be. But there is a note here that YouTube and Google do reserve the right to grant or deny an application. So I would probably apply and see how you go, and then liaise with Google and YouTube to determine what the best way forward is.
James' last question is probably to do more of social media, but I'm just going to raise it quickly. He hasn't already got a Google Plus page, but do have Facebook, Twitter, and website, because you did mention about Google Plus earlier before. Is there still worthwhile to have Google Plus as well? How time intensive is it to maintain yet another site, or you mentioned it can just be used as a referral or to boost page ranking?
Yeah, at this stage, I would probably recommend that you set up the page, but you don't put a lot of time into maintaining it on an ongoing basis. I mean, we at Connecting Up find that our audience isn't there, and what you really need to do is you need to be going to where your audience is. So I'm not sure what kind of non-profit you're involved with, James. I'm not sure whether your audience would be on Google Plus, but knowing how many people in Australia are on Google Plus, I'd probably suggest that they're not.
Google Plus is more useful for like B2B, so for you to connect with other non-profits rather than to end consumers. But I did mention that if there are people interested in knowing more about Google Plus, we do have an evaluation form that I will send through at the end of the webinar. And please just type in, would like to know more about Google Plus. And if there is enough interest, we might look into running a webinar on Google Plus in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And Google have now changed it so that anyone with a Google ID automatically has a Google Plus account. So you probably already have one. It's just a matter of setting up a page for your organisation. It looks like this interface I'm looking at here, Google Plus integration hasn't been properly set up yet, but I know that YouTube were Well, they were telling me that it was possible 2 weeks ago, so I guess it's in the works and we'll follow through shortly. It is a nil time commitment really. If you spend half an hour setting up the page and then you spend 30 seconds posting a link over there every time you put a video up, then that's certainly going to help your search rankings. It's not going to hinder you at all.
Great. Well, that's the end of the questions, and we have actually run out of time. But if you do have any more questions, you can send it through to me or send it to Ryan. I've put in the chat box Ryan's email. It's rj@connectingup.org, or you can send it to me at events@connectingup.org if it's easier. As I also mentioned, I will be sending through an evaluation form after this, along with a copy of the slides, a link to the recording, so you can watch back the recording a bit later, and any other links that Ryan has that would like to pass on to you, we will send it through by email. Yeah, and I think that's about it. And thank you very much for joining us today. If you go to the events page on our Connecting Up website, you will see that we do have a few free upcoming webinars in the next few weeks. It's actually weekly on website management, which is the new topic for the month of August. So we'll cover topics such as Drupal, Joomla, how to improve your website, and so on and so forth. So just check it out, and if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Thank you, and enjoy your lunch.
Thanks very much, everyone.